you throw something in the wash machine and it says hand wash only, you're gonna like wreck that piece of clothing, and you do not want that. You do not want that. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Jazzy Vaughn here. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jazzy Vaughn. I focus on beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content, and I have a particular interest in luxury and sustainable brands. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Today, I am going to be focusing on sustainability. So I know I mention sustainability in my tagline all the time. I actually am a sustainability professional. My 9-to-5 job, I work as a sustainability analyst, and I basically take a look at a company's operations and teach them how to be more environmentally and socially impactful. I have a passion for sustainability, and I try to incorporate sustainability in my day-to-day life as much as possible. And so today I will be sharing 6 tips that you can use to achieve a more sustainable wardrobe. So I'm not sure if you all are aware, but the apparel industry is one of the top polluting industries in the world. I believe that it might be behind energy, agriculture, and transport, but it is one of the top 5 most polluting industries in the world. And so the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis when it comes to how we purchase clothing does have an impact on the environment. Of course, these companies out here, I believe, in my opinion, have a greater role in shaping how sustainability is done within the fashion industry. A lot of the onus is on companies to kind of revolutionize how they incorporate sustainability into their operations and into their practices, into their supply chain, into all aspects of what it means to have an apparel business. Of course, it is their responsibility, but as consumers, we can also make daily choices to kind of make, you know, our impact a little less, you know, impactful environmentally. The first tip that I have is wear what you already have in your closet as much as possible. Let me go ahead and repeat that. Wear what you have in your closet as much as possible. If you don't actually need a clothing item and it's just a nice to have, try to like not buy it if you don't absolutely have to. I know it's really hard to make these choices, and I'm guilty of it sometimes myself with the shopping. You know, as an influencer, you know, as a content creator, I'm buying things more frequently than I probably would if I was just, you know, going about my day-to-day life. But I try to be very intentional with the pieces that I do buy, and I always shop in my closet first. That is what I do all the time. I have remixed my clothes so many times. I know that some people might get tired of my timeline or my feed on Instagram, because you will see me wearing something every single month repeatedly. And it's because I really do shop in my own closet. I wear pieces that I already have in my closet so that I'm not constantly spending money on getting more items. I like to remix pieces. If there's something that needs to be repaired, I like to repair my pieces, you know. The second tip that I have is to shop secondhand as much as possible. The top that I'm actually wearing, I got for I think $8 at a thrift store when I was visiting home in St. Louis, and it is 100% silk. You can find quality items at thrift stores if you just give thrift stores a chance. It might take a little patience, you know. Not everybody is into, you know, sifting through racks and racks and racks of clothing, you know, to find something. And sometimes when you go to a thrift store, you might not even find anything. But if you give thrift stores a chance, you might find, you know, gems like this. If you don't want to go to a thrift store, there are plenty of online stores nowadays where you can get secondhand items. There's Poshmark. People shop at ThredUP. I love ThredUP to get luxury items for cheaper. Fashionphile is another great place to get luxury handbags, secondhand, or pre-loved as people like to call it. Shopping secondhand just reduces the need for these companies to make more clothes, you know? They're gonna make more clothes regardless, but if we can avoid the clothing that is already out on the floors, already, you know, out in the universe, if we can avoid more of those clothes going into landfills, it's a great thing for all of us in terms of the environment. The third tip that I have is to purchase from more sustainable brands. I love shopping from sustainable brands because they're either using recycled input materials, so those items are no longer going to landfill. They might be using upcycled materials, again, so things aren't going into landfill. They also are using fabrics that are made from sustainable input materials, so certified organic cotton, for example. Also, I prefer to wear clothing that has more natural fibers because it reduces the need of, you know, chemicals being made to produce our clothing. A lot of things cannot biodegrade. Plastic, for example, cannot biodegrade. It can, but it'll take centuries and centuries and centuries for it to biodegrade. So if you're going to buy clothes, try to shop from sustainable brands that, you know, use more sustainable input materials, so that, you know, we're reducing, you know, environmental harm and reducing environmental toxins that are released from our clothing. As I mentioned before, this shirt here is 100% silk, natural fiber. I got it secondhand. If you are purchasing clothing on a regular basis, try to shop from a sustainable brand. The fourth tip that I have is to repair or mend your clothing. I know a lot of people that as soon as a button breaks on their shirt, they just throw the whole thing away, or if there's a rip in something, they'll just throw the whole thing away. Either invest in a repair service where someone else is, you know, repairing your clothing for you, or learn how to repair your clothing yourself. We want to avoid these clothing items going into landfill as much as possible, and so if you're able to repair, you know, your clothing, that's way better for the environment. I also know that there are some companies that include repair services as part of their business model, and so some companies, if you buy something from them, you can actually return it to go get repaired instead of buying a whole new coat or buying a whole new pair of jeans or something like that. I know for a fact that Patagonia has a repair and repair services, and there are other brands as well, and I'll pop them in the description box, that also have repair services, and so you're not throwing away clothes if it has like a little rip in it or something like that. The fifth tip that I have is to borrow or rent. Sometimes you have an event and you know that you're not going to be going to that many black tie events year round. I would recommend renting an item rather than buying an item. Not only are you going to save yourself some money, but you're also going to avoid clothing waste, because if you're not going to use something, I would not buy it. I'm only buying things that I know that I will wear over and over and over again. Of course, some people, you know, want to like have the special occasion dress, and if that's the dress that you buy, you know, and you pull it out every single wedding that you go to, or you pull it out every single like gala you go to, or you pull it out every single, you know, charity event that you go to, go ahead and buy that item. You know, you'll have it for years to come. If you're a person who dresses casual every single day and you don't go to that many formal events, I would recommend renting an item or borrowing an item from someone that you know. Rent the Runway has a great rental service. I have used Rent the Runway for over a year at this point. I will leave my code down below, so if you are interested in renting from Rent the Runway, you can check that code out and get some, I believe you get a couple free rentals, or at least 40% off your first month or something like that. I'll leave the information in the description box. Rent or borrow clothing when you know that you're not like going to be using a particular style of clothing or a particular item over and over again. And the sixth tip that I have is to wash with care, y'all. This is super important. This is super important to ensure the longevity of the clothing items that you buy. Please wash with care. If your item says dry clean only, take it to the dry cleaners. If your item says hand wash only, please hand wash it. Don't throw it in the regular wash. If your item says wash with light colors, don't throw your items in with your white clothes. Throw it in with light colors like the tag says. Pay attention to the tags on your clothing because that gives you a clue into how you should care for the clothing and how you should wash the clothing or cleanse the clothing. It's very important to, you know, wash with care because it ensures the longevity of your clothing. If you're not using the instructions properly, then what happens is your items will degrade quicker than they should. And you don't want that. You throw something in the wash machine and it says hand wash only, you're gonna like wreck that piece of clothing, and you do not want that. You do not want that. So be sure to wash your items with care, pay attention to the instructions, and that's really gonna have a great impact on how long those items will stay in your closet. So thank you all so much for watching. Those are the 6 tips that I have for you to ensure a more sustainable wardrobe. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a huge thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything from this video, if you found this video to be helpful, what tips you currently use in terms of sustainability when it comes to your closet, or any other tips that you would recommend that everyone uses when it comes to sustainable clothing. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!